HTC has been in the smartphone industry much longer than any other smartphone manufacturer at the moment, but it hasn't been smooth sailing for the Taiwanese manufacturer all along. In fact, last year, its engineers got acquired by Google to work on their Pixel smartphones. But with all that in the past, HTC has launched the new Desire 12 Plus in India. The phone is priced at 19,790 rupees and it is in line with the recent trends. You have an 18:9 display on the front and a dual camera setup at the back. But does it have the hardware to justify the price? Well, we are about to find out. Take a look at the HTC Desire 12 Plus and you will notice that it is in line with what is trending currently. HTC says that it has an acrylic glass back surface, but to us it feels quite plasticky to the touch. The back is glossy and well, it is a fingerprint magnet and you will need to clean it quite often. Now the plasticky finish at this price point is a little surprising considering all the other smartphones in this price range have premium material like glass and metal in its construction. The HTC Desire 12 Plus has a 6-inch 18:9 display on the front and it has an 8-megapixel selfie camera and the selfie flash right above it. The power and the volume buttons are to the right and the positioning is a little higher than what we feel is comfortable. At the back it has a dual camera setup which consists of a 13-megapixel primary sensor and a 2-megapixel secondary sensor. It also has the flash right next to it. The fingerprint scanner is positioned at the back and well, it's comfortable to reach. Now all the ports on the phone are positioned on the bottom and you have a 3.5mm audio jack, a micro USB port and the loudspeaker grill. Whereas the SIM tray slot is positioned on the left and when you pop it open you can see that it is a dual SIM device with 2 nano SIM slots and a dedicated micro SD card slot. The spec sheet of the HTC Desire 12 Plus does not look as impressive because it's been powered by a Snapdragon 450 SoC which we have seen powering the likes of the Redmi 5 which costs half as much. Now the 18:9 display on the Desire 12 Plus sports HD Plus resolution which is surprising considering all the other phones in this price range have a full HD Plus panel. Now the display has decent viewing angles and it does get bright enough when you are outdoors. And HTC also gives you the option to tweak the color temperature of the display. The phone has 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of internal storage, out of which you get 23 GB for your disposal. Now storage is expandable via the dedicated micro SD card slot which accepts cards up to 2 TB. The battery on the phone is rated at 2965 mAh and it gets a 5V 1.5 amp charger in the box. In terms of software, the Desire 12 Plus runs on Sense UI on top of Android 8.0 Oreo. When you swipe right from the home screen, you don't get Google now, but you get Blink Feed instead, which displays the latest news based on the source you choose. The UI isn't drastically different from stock Android and you should get used to it fairly quickly. But there are a few annoying things like an undismissible VoLTE notification that we did not like. You do get a fair amount of bloatware pre-installed and you cannot go ahead and uninstall all of them. Sense UI has support for themes and you can customize the look using the Themes app. The HTC's Sense Companion app is also available on the Desire 12 Plus, which provides custom reminders and suggestions. But during our test period, it did not offer any meaningful suggestions. The Snapdragon 450 SoC is clocked at 1.8 GHz and performs decently on the Desire 12 Plus. Now small games and apps load quickly, but heavier apps and games see a longer load time. Now if you use the phone for basic calls and WhatsApp, you wouldn't be bothered by the performance. But if you take breaks quite often to game a lot, well, the waiting times can get annoying. While playing games like Clash Royale, we did not find any issues, but when we tried playing Hitman, Sniper, we found that there was a little bit of lag and stutter. We also observed a slightly heavier battery drain while playing games, so if you game quite often, you might need to keep the charger handy. The camera software on the HTC Desire 12 Plus is basic and fairly easy to use. It has quick toggles for mode selection, beautification, filters and bokeh mode. The Desire 12 Plus is quick to focus and adjust exposure based on the lighting. It has a UV focus mode which clicks 5 photos at one time, giving you the option to refocus later. You also get HDR, portrait, sports, landscape and other modes to choose from. Photos clicked from the Desire 12 Plus were average at best. In daylight, we found that the camera was quick to focus and got the exposure right most of the time. You will need to enable HDR manually since it lacks auto HDR. Images are good, but you will notice a loss in detail when you zoom into the image. The bokeh mode is easy to enable and has good edge detection. We encountered a bug which caused the phone to not save photos clicked in this mode, but a quick restart fixed it for us. Macros are decent, but it isn't easy to get the phone to focus where you want it to. We also tried shooting in flower mode and found that autofocus refused to work in this mode. Low light camera performance isn't great. You get a decent image by itself, but zooming in reveals a loss in details. Photos clicked with a light source at a distance weren't good and appeared quite grainy. The Desire 12 Plus has a selfie flash which is helpful when clicking in low light conditions. Selfies are good enough to be shared on social media apps, but they aren't as good as the ones from the Xiaomi Redmi Y2. Video recording maxes out at 1080p for both the front and the rear camera. It has continuous autofocus, but it isn't as quick as some other phones we recently tested. You do get EIS, but we did not see any significant difference while recording with EIS switched on. In our HD video loop test, the phone went on for 9 hours and 43 minutes, which is about average. With our usage, we found that the phone could last us for one full day, needing a charge the next morning to soldier on. The Desire 12 Plus is the latest smartphone from HTC for the mid-range segment, but honestly, we haven't been able to figure out why they are charging a premium for what this phone offers. The Snapdragon 450 SoC is available in significantly cheaper phones like the Redmi 5 and the Oppo A71 2018 edition. Also, the HD Plus display does not justify the 19,790 rupee price tag. Now, if you are in the market looking for a smartphone around 20,000 rupees, you may want to consider between the Redmi Note 5 Pro, the Moto X4 and the Oppo F7 instead. And that was our review of the HTC Desire 12 Plus. What do you think about this device? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.